My name is Anamarie Johnson, and I'm a PhD student at Arizona State University, and today I will be talking about qualitative analysis of word use and choice by U.S. dog trainers. The current world of dog training is commonly divided between positive reinforcement and balance training. Previous literature has compared the two methods, examining how they define and label key learning theory concepts. For example, positive reinforcement trainers have begun to use the word cue to indicate a verbal or visual signal to a dog versus the word command with its potential compulsive connotation. Literature has also examined the demographics of who practices each method, with balance training being male-dominated, while positive reinforcement training is female-dominated. Word-based analysis is a qualitative method where texts are analyzed for theme and meaning. The base unit of the code is analyzed for context and frequency. With semantic network analysis, codes are examined for the relationship across text. Using these methods, I aim to show that positive reinforcement and balance trainers differed in language use. There were three primary hypotheses for the study. 1, I hypothesized that there would be a difference in word use between training methodologies. 2, there would be a difference in word use between men and women women would be more likely to follow a positive reinforcement training methodology. Finally, positive reinforcement trainers would be more likely to be certified and have proof of a background in animal behavior than balance trainers. I sampled the 10 highest rated trainers from 10 U.S. cities and obtained their training philosophies. Trainers were identified as positive reinforcement or balanced, and also identified if they had proof of education, either being certified or attending a training school. Certification was defined as from a third-party organization without a specific affiliation to training methodology, and which requires competency tests and continuing education units. Training schools are usually within a certain training methodology, and upon graduation have no follow-up for competency or continuing education. Of the 100 trainers, 56 had women head trainers, 41 had men head trainers, and 3 had no specified gender for the head trainer. 55 practiced a balanced methodology versus 45 practicing a positive reinforcement methodology. To begin this analysis, I looked at a series of different generated word frequency lists and ultimately created 20 codes that had analytical importance. These codes were either an individual word like cue, or different word combinations that were united by a theme like behavioral issues. These words were analyzed to compare each code for its frequency across documents, how the codes connected together, and how each code was used within its context. Analysis was also done to compare how similar trainer documents were to others by how codes were used. This table shows the 20 codes for this analysis, which compares overall frequency of the code across all documents, as well as how many documents the code appeared in. One of the issues that came up was overall inconsistency of use across the documents. Of the 100 documents, 13 had none of these codes appear. As you can see in the circled areas, some code showed overinflated use because of one document. For example, prong collar was used 17 times, but actually only appeared in 5 documents. Shock and electronic collar ultimately were 2 codes that identified a trainer as positive or balanced, but did not appear frequently enough for those to be codes to different training methodology. Greater difference between the training methods was seen with codes in their context. A couple clear differences popped up in analysis. Electronic collar was only used by balance trainers, while shock collar was used by positive reinforcement. The concept of pack leadership, or Mother Nature instinct, which have been critiqued in the scientific literature, was only used by balance trainers, and positive reinforcement trainers use science, tying into the idea that positive reinforcement is rooted in scientific principles. Unlike what is advocated by positive reinforcement trainers, the word cue was actually used by balance trainers in this sample as a signal to give a dog prior to correction. These 2 figures visualize the co-occurrence of codes in balanced and positive reinforcement documents. The closer 2 codes are in the visualization, the more similar their use in documents, and the interconnecting lines highlight the number of documents they co-occurred in. In both methods, communication was the most commonly occurring code, but in balanced documents, it was more related to codes like pack leadership, balanced approach, and real world, while in the positive reinforcement documents, it was connected with codes positive reinforcement, science, and effective. This document map highlights the different code use by balanced and positive reinforcement trainers. Positive reinforcement trainers fall on the left side of the map, while balanced trainers fall on the right side. As you can see, positive reinforcement trainers clustered together based on their similarity of code use and often had certification or schooling background. The left side of the map is more populated by certified positive reinforcement women trainers, whereas the right side of the map is more populated by uncertified, balanced male trainers. All three of the hypotheses were supported by our analysis. Trying to differentiate trainers based on just the type of words being used, and if they were present or not in a philosophy, did not provide great insight. Better differentiation was seen when looking at the context the codes appeared within a document. The majority of positive reinforcement trainers were women, and positive reinforcement trainers were more often certified than balanced trainers. That being said, of 100 trainers in our sample, only 19 had a certification from a third-party organization. This study supported previous literature that noted that information presented by trainers is varied and inconsistent. Concepts that have been critiqued in the scientific literature for their lack of foundation in dog training continue to be perpetuated by practicing trainers. Additionally, codes were of most use when analyzed within their context, but that reading between the lines can be nearly impossible for the normal dog owner. Only 56 trainers in this study self-identified to their training methodology, so even that level of identification may not be a reliable method for an owner to choose the best training method for their dog. More work needs to be done by practicing trainers to make their field more accessible to those that benefit from their work. If you're further interested in learning about these different concepts, here are some references. I want to thank Dr. Clive Wynne, my advisor, as well as the other members of the Canine Science Collaboratory for their support. I also want to thank Dr. Amber Wooditch for introducing me to this method of analysis. Thank you so much.